Hello, everyone. My name is John Brenneman. I'm the president here at MOAA Vacations. Want to thank everybody for joining us today. We're going to get going pretty quick. A couple of things before we get started. I always like to let people know we are recording this webinar. So tomorrow you will receive an email. It will have a link. We'll actually upload this video to YouTube. So if either myself or more likely Gina says anything that you find of interest or you want to revisit, just make a note of what time it is. So instead of watching the entire webinar, you can maybe, fast forward 35, 40 minutes, whenever that is, to revisit it. Everything I'm going to talk about the benefits or the amenities for MOAA members applies both to MOAA members and anyone who travels with you. So not just necessarily in your room, but if you want to bring friends and family, there's no limit on how many people you bring. So for example, let's say Gina's talking about the 250th birthday celebration or anniversary celebration tour that we have next year. Next year is America's 250th. If you have friends and family that you want to bring along, absolutely. You can bring one couple, you can bring your whole, multi-generational family trip. Anyone who travels with you will receive all of the MOAA amenities, MOAA service, and those types of things. So I bring it up now because if you get the video tomorrow and you think of some people that might be interested in joining you, feel free to go ahead and forward them the link so they can watch the video on YouTube. And we do have web pages set up for all of these groups, so you're of course welcome to send them that web page as well. We have a lot we're going to get through today, so I'm going to go through relatively quickly, kind of my section on MOAA Vacations. Then Gina's going to talk about Collette in general, for those of you who may not be familiar with them. And then it's going to go through some of the groups that we have set up. And then Gina and I are going to end it with a Q&A. Once I get done and I turn it over to Gina, if you have any questions that you'd like, go ahead and ask them. I will be turning my camera off during Gina's presentation and answering questions. If it's a question that I think everybody would be interested in, I will both answer it in the Q&A, and then Gina and I will both revisit that at the end of the presentation. So real quick, MOAA Vacations, what kind of makes us unique? We always talk about our service, and rather than get to a lot of examples about it, really the one thing we always kind of highlight on is the fact that we are the only travel agency in North America that does travel on a satisfaction guaranteed basis. So if you have any problem or concern either before or during your trip, you reach out to us. You'll most likely talk to me. The industry average, I think, is 6 to 8 weeks when somebody has a problem or an issue. We try to get your issue, concern, problem, whatever, however you want to describe it, resolved within 48 hours. And the way we're able to do that, you have an issue, you talk to me, and then I reach out to my good friend Gina if it's with Collette, which is unlikely. We have very few issues with Collette, but whatever the cruise line or the tour company is, I reach directly out to one of the managers or directors or executive officers, whatever it is, to get your problem resolved as quickly as possible. We do guarantee the lowest price. We do have a free amenity program, which basically means we have the opportunity to get a value that's lower than the lowest price. All of the partners that we work with and promote, such as Collette, participate in our MOAA exclusive amenity program. So with Collette, in addition to the lowest price, you always get an additional $50 or $100 off per person. So on any tour you go on with Collette, you are going to get a price that's lower than you could get going direct to Collette. And then groups, and obviously that's what we're going to talk about today. We just last month, correct? Yeah, last month we did an exclusive group with Collette. We had 2 buses that are Australia, New Zealand. A lot of you might have seen that promotion from that. I can tell you the feedback that I have seen, and we've got feedback from at least probably half the people that went on that trip, has all been overwhelmingly positive. We always get fantastic feedback on these Collette vacations, and a lot of that starts with the tour guides. I know Gina's going to talk about this as well, but if you've ever been on one of these escorted land tours, the tour guides are so important. That is the person that takes your great vacation to a once in a lifetime vacation. So I just wanted to mention that. And then one other thing before I turn it over to Gina is the fact if you saw the promotion in Retired or Military Officer Magazine or the invitation to this, where we listed a number of groups, we are not going to talk about Sicily today because Sicily is sold out, which is a great time to mention that when we see these groups, there's only so many seats on a bus. So if you see something and you're interested, please reach out. When we get to the very end, we'll have our phone number and our email address. Most of you have it already. But they're all eventually going to sell out. So, if you're thinking about it, reach out, talk to one of our Collette experts, let them answer all your questions, so you can make a decision before, like, if somebody got on today and we're interested in going to Sicily, unfortunately, that opportunity is already passed. So if you're looking at one of the other tours, let's get that conversation going to make sure that if you want to go, you can go. So that's kind of my real quick overview. As I mentioned, I'm going to shut my camera off. I'm available to answer questions. And then when Gina's done, we'll go through all the questions that are relevant to everybody's on the webinar. So once again, thank you for joining us. And Gina, I'm turning it over to you.
All right. Thank you so much, John. Thank you for having me today. Excited to talk about some wonderful itineraries that MOA Vacations has picked out with you all in mind. So we will be going over some great ones. But first, I just want to introduce myself. I'm Gina Canseco, and I'm business development manager with Collette. This is one of my favorite parts of my job is talking about traveling, other than, of
Traveling.
course,
Yeah.
the joy of traveling itself. As you'll see, I've gotten to go to some absolutely wonderful places with Collette. And I'm going to tell you what it looks like when you go on tour with Collette, as well as dive into some great itineraries that are some top sellers. So, for those that are not familiar with Collette, you may have seen us in these few places, including Wheel of Fortune, also on Hallmark, and also as partner of AARP. But there's a lot of reasons that MOA Vacations has chosen to partner with us, and John has mentioned a few of those. So I want to tell you what it looks like when you go on tour with us. And if you haven't been on an escorted tour before, want to give you an idea of what you can expect with us. And number one thing is peace of mind. When you are on tour with us, your only thought should be making memories. We want to make it a seamless experience from start to finish. So, having four-star accommodations across the board with five-star experience. So, we don't want you to have to wonder how you're going to wake up and start your morning, where you're going to park your car, how you're going to get to a certain place, what your accommodations are going to be, and have all of those experiences taken care of, plus a little bit more. Not having to wait in line or lugging around those 50-pound bag down the stairs. Like John mentioned, our tour managers are absolutely excellent and they're with you every step of the way. So you don't have to worry about a thing before as well as when you are on tour. So I kind of like to think of it as thoughtless travel. So you can really just enjoy the experience and we'll take care of all of the behind the scenes details. So a few of the reasons that our travelers love going on Colette tours is what really sets us apart in the tour industry is the overall experience. Pacing is really, really important. We don't want to have a lot of one night stays. We want to minimize those round trip gateways so you don't feel like you're backtracking. We talk a lot about getting to experience the culture. And you can't really do that when you have a one night stay, you can't really get to know a destination. So pacing is really important, as well as giving you a balance. As great as traveling with a group may be, sometimes you just want to kind of step out and do your own thing with your spouse or your travel partner. So we like to give you a good balance. With some meals included, and a balance of free time in between, so you can really make the trip what you want it to be. And like I said, you've got your tour manager that is with you every step of the way, and they truly can make or break a trip. And so that's why we put a very, very heavy emphasis on making sure that we have wonderful tour managers that are leading you. And they're not just there to be IQ, but they're really there to be there to really bring these sites to life for you, telling you about the people, the places, the history, the culture, as and also being able to make sure that they're there to anticipate your needs and make sure everybody's feeling seen. And a lot of the times, many of them are local, so they truly do know the place that they're touring inside and out, so they can really provide you with an authentic cultural experience. Another thing that we do to make it easy on you is we know the part of getting to a destination is usually not the most fun part. So we like to make it a little bit easier on you when you purchase your air with us. We have a transportation package that if you live within 50 miles of the airport, we will actually pick you up at your home, so sedan service, door to door, pick you up, take you to the airport, so you don't even have to worry about parking your car at the airport, because that's funds that you could be using while you are on tour. So we like to make that a little bit easier on you at the start, and then you also have a Collette representative waiting for you as soon as you arrive and get out of customs if it's somewhere international. So it just makes it a little bit more of a seamless experience, as well as that last hurdle when you get home. That trek home from the airport is never fun. So not having to worry about getting back, and also grabbing your bags for you as well. Okay, so the first tour we are going to talk about today is our number one seller out of our entire catalog, which is Iceland's Magical Northern Lights. This is offered for March 23rd through the 29th of 2026. And this is a really, really unique product. We offer it from October to March, as that is the most prominent time to see the Northern Lights, and we're going to give you every single opportunity to do so. And I want to tell you about why it is our top seller. So one, pacing. The pacing is very, very nice on this. I really love highlighting this one because it showcases a great example of that. So we're not bopping you around from hotel to hotel. And along the way, you're going to get to see some beautiful sights. So after your overnight flight, we will spend your first day in Reykjavik before we head on to Vik, and then we will end back in Reykjavik. And these are just all of the wonderful sights that you're going to get to see along the way of this wonderful tour. So, as I said, we open up in the capital city of Reykjavik, where you're going to start to see the culture really uncover itself here in Reykjavik. It is quite the infusion of diversity with different cultures here, from Scandinavian to Dutch to also Asian cultures as well. Obviously, you have a lot of Nordic culture here with the Viking period, but you can really see the architecture here is just so diverse, from Baroque to Gothic, etc. So we're going to spend the first day getting to know this city with your tour manager. Before that first evening, we are going to leave the bright city lights behind, and we are going to sail out on a cruise into the darkness of Faxafloy Bay, where we're going to start searching for the Northern Lights, and hopefully get a glimpse of them on your first night. What's great about this tour is your tour manager is going to make sure they give you every opportunity to go out and find those lights. So sometimes they'll even offer to wake you up in the middle of the night if they have lots of technology that your tour managers do that are able to see when and where they're flashing at certain times. So they'll even offer to wake you up and take you out there so you can have every opportunity to see them. So, your next day, we are going to begin your adventure with, we're going to make our way to Vic, and we are going to be traveling along the iconic Golden Circle, which is one of the most famous and all scenic routes here in Iceland because it covers just so many stunning landmarks and historically significant places. So first, getting to go see the Earth energy approach as we make our way to see the geysers thermal area, where you actually get to start to see the ground sizzling and the steam rising. And this is actually one of the only places on Earth where you can get actually up close to an active geothermal geyser. Then we'll take a short journey over to the mesmerizing Double Cascade Gullfoss waterfall. That Gullfoss actually means golden waterfall in Icelandic. So it's really neat. On a sunny day, the water takes kind of a golden brown hue, which where the name comes from. So really cool sight to see before we make our way to see Thingvellir National Park, where you're going to have the opportunity to stand upon the crest of the Mid-Atlantic Range, which actually means, in a geological sense, that you're going to be straddling two continents at once. And so those are just some of the iconic things that you're going to get to see on your way there. But once we make our way to Vik, you're going to get to know this charming little coastal village in Iceland, which also offers some stunning sights and natural wonders, including waterfalls, more geysers, and of course, one of the best places to seek out the Northern Lights. So here we will start with visiting the Black Sand Beach here, which is surrounded by those really unique basalt formations and home to thousands of nesting seabirds. So if you're somebody that likes to do some bird watching, you'll really get to enjoy this. And then also seeing those twisting hexagonal shapes. That are they kind of look like they're man-made, but they're actually formed by cooled lava. So you're going to start to see those at the Black Sand Beach, and this is one of the few places on Earth that you'll actually have the opportunity to see them, other than the Giant's Causeway in Northern Ireland. We'll also have the opportunity to stop and look out at the natural rock formations at Dirhalehi Bay, which is a small peninsula that was also created by volcanic activity and just towers over the ocean. It may not look as big to you in this picture, but once you are up and close to it, it is absolutely incredible. Actually, one of the we actually in 1993, one Daredevil pilot actually flew through it, and ships can also sail through it. So, really iconic spot to see and great time to get out your camera and take some pictures. Before later that evening, we are going to go out once again chasing those northern lights, where we will drive out to some of the darkest areas, and then we'll get to go out on foot, search for the northern lights across the still landscape. Sometimes you'll see that the northern lights can kind of play hide and seek. They can be really elusive. So that's why we have 3 nights in Vic because they can't hide for long, and we want to increase everybody's chance of getting to see them. Another unique thing we do in Vic is we are going to next morning drive along the South Shore toward Reykjanes Peninsula, which is known for its rugged landscape and has some lava fields and, of course, hot springs. Um, Huge highlight here, the iconic Blue Lagoon, nestled right in the heart of the dramatic lavascape. The geothermal waters are truly, truly a unique experience, and you are actually going to have the opportunity to take a dip in here yourself. So you may be thinking this is a winter tour, but actually you'll want to bring your swimsuit so you can get to take a dip in the hot springs at the Blue Lagoon, which is not only really unique within itself, but also provides you with wonderful views of the nature around you. Um, the land here is natural, so the lava that shapes the pool is really it's really neat to see everything that surrounds it with views of the sea behind it. And there's corners where you'll find waterfalls and things like that.
Now that we are empty nesters, my husband and I knew that we wanted to travel so that we could learn and discover more and more about this world around us. One country that we've always wanted to see and experience is Iceland. Iceland is a destination that we've seen and heard so much about, but we knew it was a place that we could never experience by just looking at a photograph. Every day was a new adventure. When we were able to walk on black sand beaches, we saw incredible towering waterfalls, and we were so close that the mist was on our faces, and we even got to see the northern lights. It was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Iceland is so grand and so wild, so impressive. You almost can't believe your eyes. You didn't know these things existed. And then you walk up and see this waterfall that just nearly takes your breath away. There were times where I was emotional. There were times where I was just in awe. This trip almost made us feel like kids again. It was fun to splash and actually just let your guard down and be us. Iceland exceeded all of our expectations, and it left us with an adventure that we will never forget.
So that just gives you a glimpse of all of the wonderful things that you get to see on this tour. I love that video because you notice she says she's talking about everything she gets to see, and then she says, and I even got to see the Northern Lights. So, um, we can't always control Mother Nature, but we do the best we can to go out and find them. But Iceland is a spectacular destination where you get to see nature truly, truly come alive. And if you get to see the Northern Lights, it's really just a cherry on top to everything that you get to see. So this is March 23rd through the 29th, and we're looking at $35.99 per person at the double occupancy, so on the 7-day tour. And if you'd like to book on this tour, please contact MOAA Vacations and they will get you helped out. Okay, so now we're going to circle around and we're going to go to a completely different region. We're going to talk about this wonderful tour, Cultural Treasures of Japan. And this will be April 19th through May 2nd of 2026, a 14-day tour including 18 meals. So another great example of the wonderful pacing. We only have one night stay here, so we're going to give you plenty of time to explore. We'll start in Tokyo before making our way to Hakone and then Takayama, and then Kanazawa, and then we end the journey in Kyoto. So we talked a little bit about the culture there in Scandinavia, but here Japan feels like you are in a completely different world. The culture heritage is protected there, it's celebrated, and very, very much kept alive today. So we're going to get to visit the bustling cities, get to see the quieter countryside, where we're also going to get to explore plenty of historical sites, hear stories, meet locals, and learn a little bit about their traditions here. So there's two main religions in Japan, both Shinto and Buddhism, and you're going to find thousands of Shinto shrines and also some Buddhist temples throughout the country. So you're going to get to see some real-time examples of both culture, both religions, and how they shine through with their culture. So we start in Tokyo, where you will have your overnight flight, and then we are going to arrive here in the electrifying city of Tokyo, where you're going to start to see Japan's blend of past and present right before your very eyes. Here, you're going to get to see temples as well as some ultra modern buildings. We'll start with a walking tour, get you acquainted, kind of give you a lay of the land. And then you'll have some free time to grab a bite to eat, do some shopping, and see some of the most renowned department stores here in Japan, and get to explore this wonderful city. And here in Tokyo, we'll also visit Asakusa, which is, we explored the more modern the day before, but now we're gonna explore Asakusa, which is an area in the city where tradition really thrives, and kind of gives you a feel of old Tokyo, if you will. So once you arrive, you'll step back from the city's hustle and bustle and get to experience, of course, your first traditional age-old custom, a traditional Japanese tea ceremony, which is very, very important to their culture, formed in spirituality, meaning, ancient rituals and values, so giving you the opportunity to withdraw, kind of take a moment from the chaos of everyday life, and get to experience it yourself. Next, we make our way to Hakone, which is, we talked a little bit about the cities, the shrines, the temples, but Japan is also home to some incredible, breathtaking landscapes. So we're going to get to experience some of those today as we trade in the city life for stopping at this lakeside resort town in Hakone, where you'll get to explore some volcanic valleys where there's hot springs, get to see Mount Hakone, and more than 3,000 years ago, it had erupted, and get to learn about the result of the fascinating landscape and how it looks today. And also, you'll get to climb aboard the Hakone ropeway, which is a aerial cable car, as you'll see in this picture, which is going to give you some breathtaking views of Mount Fuji as you glide through the air. Next day, we're gonna get to explore one of the grandest original castles, Matsumoto Castle, which is known as the Crown Castle because of its striking pitch black exterior, really exudes, very fierce, but also quiet elegance. So getting to see this tower and this structure dating all the way back to the 1500s is really just a national treasure. Then we are going to hit the road again to Takayama. And Takayama, we are going to get to know a little bit more about the Edo period, where we'll get to do a guided walking tour of the town's historic district. So hundreds of years ago, this was a very wealthy merchants town. So you'll see that kind of come alive in the streets, which are filled with different artisans, farmers, merchants, all that are from the surrounding area. Um, well, of course, no longer in those feudal ages, but many of these buildings, homes, and streets really all still speak to that time. So we'll get to stroll through the morning market, get to explore the 600-year-old open air market, where you'll get to see some locally grown and produced products and just meander through the winding streets. We'll also make a stop at the Shirakawa Go Village, which is nestled right at the foot of Mount Hakusen, where you'll get to explore this traditional village, which is peppered with famous century-old houses, which truly look like it belongs on a postcard. So you'll definitely want to make sure to bring your camera with you today as you visit and get to see the unique architecture and also some of the amazing gardens here. Um, these some of these houses too, they're really unique structures that feature those kind of thatched rooftop design, which actually does resemble two hands joined in prayer. The name actually does translate to hands in prayer, or like praying hands. So their fascination is not just an interesting appearance, it also has details that you can't even see. Here, we will also get to explore the Samurai District, where you're going to get to enter the former homes of Nomuras, which were a wealthy samurai family who served the ruling during the Maida family. And we are going to get to embrace a age-old tradition of gold leaf making, where rather than just getting to learn about it, the gold leaf production, or purchasing it, you'll get to work with it right up close and personal with a hands-on lesson, and decorate your own lacquer box before we then head to the center of the town to take in the action of the fish market before we venture out on your own to kind of make the trip what you want it to be. As I said, we like to give you a nice balance so you can have those must-sees and those local experiences included, but also make the trip what you want it to be. And then we are on to Kyoto, which was Japan's capital city from 794 until the late mid 1800s, and is now one of the nation's top cosmopolitan cities. For over 1,000 years, it was the center of an evolving country and its culture. So today, it's somewhat of a time capsule, if you will, a place where the traditional Japanese culture is very, very much kept alive. So you'll get to see the authentic craft visitors that you can find here, the tea houses that line the streets, and over 2,000 temples and shrines in the city and around the city and more. So the first stop we'll make in Kyoto is to see the Inari Shrine, which is a shrine dedicated to the Shinto god of rice, Inari. And what's really unique about this shrine is in order to get there, you follow those spectacular rows of orange torii that weave through the forest, and that leads you up to the inner shrine of the temple, which is also known as the Golden Pavilion pavilion, thanks to its top two floors that are completely covered in gold leaf. And then we are going to also take from Kyoto, we're going to take the famous bullet train into Hiroshima. Many of you, I'm sure, recognize Hiroshima as a place devastated by the atomic bomb back in World War II, but of course, that is not its entire identity. Of course, its very tragic past is very, very much remembered here. And you're going to get to explore some of that. But it's also, Hiroshima is also a very vibrant urban center, as well as lots of natural beauty and delicious food here. So you'll have some time on your own before we will ferry back and then head into Hiroshima City, where we're going to start to embark on a more reflective journey, if you will, and learn about the history here and see it up close and personal. So we will visit the Hiroshima Peace Memorial Park, a place of remembrance, a wonderful sight to see that truly does bring this history alive for you as we pause to see the ruined atomic dome. And of course, the only structure left standing in the area, which is a truly sobering reminder of the damage and destruction caused by dropping that atomic bomb. So we'll have some time to pause and reflect there before we head back to Kyoto by bullet train. Then, as we start to reach the end of your tour, we are going to once again start the next day seeing the Niho Castle, which was home to a powerful warlord. And you'll start to see the unique, intricate wood carvings, different wall paintings, and the different gardens here, which are absolutely beautiful. And then we will have another interactive experience where we're going to get to do a hands-on stenciling lesson where you get to learn more about the ancient craft. And then you're going to have the afternoon to relax and uncover more of Kyoto's hidden gems on your own before we have an exciting evening for you for your farewell dinner. This evening, we will have a special farewell dinner, and here you're going to get to experience a live Mako performance, giving you a more rare glimpse into Japan's traditional arts, and you'll get to see some performances about by the geisha, which are the highly respected women performers who have entertained for many centuries and are trained in arts and skills. And you're going to get to witness this performance and really see the Japanese traditions come to life before you and see how the practices of the past are still honored and carried forth in modern day Japan today before you depart the next day. So this trip is April 19th through May 2nd, 14 days, looking at a price of $67.99, very inclusive price for everything that you're getting to see at the double occupancy rate. And if you are interested in this tour, you can contact MOAA Vacations to get booked. As John said, this seats do go quickly, so if you are interested, you'll definitely want to contact them as soon as possible. Okay, next tour we're going to talk about is celebrating America's 250th anniversary. This 9-day tour includes 12 meals, and of course, this journey is only happening in 2026, designed to celebrate America's 250th anniversary. Here we will get to explore some amazing places, starting in Boston, and then we'll make our way on to New York for your next couple nights. Then we will make a stop in Philadelphia, and then ending your journey in Washington, D.C. So, as I said, this tour is crafted to commemorate the last 250 years of America's history. So, of course, Boston is a very fitting first stop. Centuries before it became popular, uh, cosmopolitan city that it is today. Before that, it was a battleground, both literally and figuratively, for the fight for independence. So, you'll start to get to see that history really come alive. And we'll also be, well, the next day we'll also venture to Lexington and Concord, of course, the very towns where the Revolutionary War commenced. Here we will begin with a tour at the Lexington Battle Green, where you'll get to meet a local guide. And then after your Lexington visit, continue on to Concord, where your first stop is going to be Wright Tavern, where the Minutemen and militia gathered before the battle. The Minutemen were an elite handpicked force ready to fight at any moment or minute's notice alongside the local militia. They rushed to confront the British troops on that fateful day. Um, so really unique to be standing on that ground and hearing all the history behind it. And then we'll also make a stop at the old burial ground, which is Concord's earliest burial site before we continue on to Old North Bridge, the exact spot where the shot heard around the world was fired. After delving into the history, it's back to Boston, where you will have a welcome dinner with your fellow travelers. Of course, Boston has some amazing cuisine as well, especially in Boston's North End, known for its spectacular Italian food. Where we will get to indulge in a meal at a North End restaurant, steps away from Paul Revere's house. Next day, we are off to our next city, New York City. But on the way there, we think it's very important to make a stop at West Point Academy, of course, the most prestigious military service college in the United States. Well, you might know West Point for its current day reputation. It's also an incredibly important site in the days of the Revolutionary War. So we'll get to do a guided tour here, and you'll get to explore both its current and past roles, learning about the West Point during the war and how the United States Military Academy currently trains the leaders of tomorrow. And then later that afternoon, we are going to arrive in the bright light, bustling streets of New York City, where you're going to start to see the soaring skyscrapers, over the top energy, and lots of amazing experiences waiting to be had. So you're going to have your some free time that first evening, whether you want to explore, shop in Times Square, walk over to the Empire State Building, eat at some iconic restaurants, visit the New York Public Library. There's absolutely so many things to do here in New York City. The options are endless. And then the next day, we'll start your morning like a New Yorker with breakfast at a local diner. And then we are going to delve into the historic side of New York on a blended panoramic and walking tour with a local NYC guide, where you will get a glimpse into Central Park. Of course, pause beside the 9/11 memorial, also getting to see St. Paul's Chapel, where George Washington prayed following his inauguration. And then we will have a optional, if you want to go see a Broadway show while you're here, there will be an option for you to attend the Hamilton Broadway show and dinner on this pre-sold option, where you'll get to go to the theater to experience the famous song and rap production, and get to experience this. Now, this is a very popular show, so tickets are subject to availability. So you will want to sign up for this option. If you sign up for this tour, you'll want to sign up for this option early, so we make sure that we can accommodate. And next day, we're going to depart the bustling streets of New York City for a city known as the birthplace of America, Philadelphia. It is here where two of our country's founding documents, both the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution, were both signed into existence. So we will embark on a tour here and, of course, enter the very building where the names were inked on those two documents, Independence Hall. And of course, you'll also get to see one of the country's most famous symbols of freedom, the Liberty Bell. Then your exploration of history continues in the afternoon as we go on to see the Museum of American Revolution, where the pieces you've retraced so far on your journey really do come together. So you're going to get to walk through the collections and immersive galleries, which are going to uncover even more stories of the people and events that contributed to the nation's creation. And then you will also dine at a historic tavern where we have a unique, or I'm sorry, in New York, you got to dine at a historic tavern. But here in Philly, we've got another unique dining experience where you are going to board the historic tall ship that still stands or floats, if you will, as the world's oldest and largest square-rigged sailing vessel, where you will get to have dinner on this ship turned restaurant. Will be your setting for dinner that evening. And next day, we are going to make our way to Washington, D.C. But along the way, we'll make a stop at Valley Forge National Historic Park, of course, the site of Continental Army encampment during the Revolutionary War. And then after Valley Forge, we'll stop for lunch, make your way to the nation's capital. Of course, very important time capsule of America's history, a place where you'll see the past, present, and future of the nation converge. So we'll start the next day, getting a peek into the nation's political heart at the U.S. Capitol, get to see the seat of the United States Congress, getting to tour the Visitor Center, and get a fascinating look into American history and government in one of the very buildings where the history is written. And then after lunch on your own, we will make our way to Arlington National Cemetery, where over 400,000 service members and notable figures are honored and remembered. Here, a narrated tour is going to take you to the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier and the Kennedy grave sites. And next, you will get to take in some views of National Mall, the White House, of course, and some other world famous monuments and museums. We'll pause to reflect at the memorials, including World War II Memorial, the Vietnam Veterans Memorial, and the Korean War Memorial, which honor, of course, the brave American service members like yourself who answered their country's call and made the ultimate sacrifice. So this is a once in a lifetime opportunity, really, to get to visit these places during this time. This tour is only offered just in 2026 being the 250th anniversary. So very special time to visit, April 26th through May 4th, 9 days, looking at a price of $43.99 at the double occupancy rate. And really great journey from Boston to New York to Philadelphia, and then, of course, ending in Washington, D.C., connecting with America's brave and revolutionary beginnings. Okay, and next one we're going to talk about is National Parks of America. Um, we're going to gain a whole new appreciation of the great outdoors as you journey through America's most incredible national parks. So we have a very great itinerary here, starting in Scottsdale and ending in Rapid City, South Dakota, with some beautiful, beautiful national parks along the way. So we start in Scottsdale, where we'll have a welcome dinner in this local artist town, and start to see that real cowboy flair. And then we will make our way to the Grand Canyon. Of course, one of the seven natural wonders of the world, up to 18 miles wide and 1 mile deep. It is so nice to just kind of relax here. So we'll have relax at one of the many public seated areas and overlook all of the immense and colorful canyon. Next, we make our way to Springdale, of course, gateway to Zion National Park, which will be your home for the next 2 nights. This destination is those red and white sandstone cliffs of Zion National Park, offers a really unique blend of both desert and forest and river environments, which support a rich variety of wildlife and plant life, which really does make it a great haven for nature lovers as well as adventurers. And we're going to give you a choice of how you'd like to spend your time here in Zion National Park. So, if you want to uncover some more of the cultural and natural history here, you could choose to visit the Zion Human History Museum, where you'll get to explore some exhibits highlighting the role of how the water shapes the landscape, as well as learning about the lives of the native people, the pioneers here, and getting to see artifacts and different materials, and even a free park film that offers kind of a deeper insight into Zion's past. Or you can choose to explore Zion independently on your own, whether you want to do some hiking or horseback riding or just enjoy some of the nature walks. There are many popular activities to do here in the park. Next, we're on to Bryce Canyon National Park, which is one of the most spectacular scenic wonders of the world, known for its very unique geology, where you're going to start to see those horseshoe-shaped amphitheaters, different slot canyons, and the famous spires, which are called hoodoos. After some time in Bryce, we are going to drive north into Salt Lake City for a 1 night stay. The reason we make the stop here is it serves as a very central and accessible gateway between the major national parks like Yellowstone, Bryce Canyon, and Zion. So we will do a little bit of exploring of Salt Lake, and then we're going to arrive in one of my favorite cities, the cowboy town of Jackson Hole, America's most famous cowboy town, which is nestled against the striking Grand Teton Mountains. So it has not only lots of cowboy culture, but wonderful, captivating views as well. So we'll get to admire the town before we give you some time on your own to enjoy this old time town, which has been a setting for many favorite American Western movies, including Big Trail, starring John Wayne, The Mountain Men. So many movies, but there's so many things to do here, including shopping, canoeing, hiking, river rafting. The day is yours, and your tour manager will be ready with countless suggestions of how you'd like to spend your day. Next, we are going to make our way, we will make a stop through Grand Teton National Park, where you're going to get to see those amazing peaks soaring over 13,000 feet that truly just dominate the skyline, offering a stunning backdrop here. The park features a very wide variety of different ecosystems, so it supports lots of different animals, including moose, elk, bison, bears, bald eagles. So lots of things to see here before we make our way to Yellowstone National Park, another one of my favorite parks. Yellowstone covers almost 140 square miles and it the largest lake in North America. Um, and it is the first national park actually in the world and famous for its wildlife and, of course, geothermal features. So within the park, you'll find different roaming wildlife among the lakes, different canyons, rivers, and mountain ranges. And it's situated within a volcano's caldera. So you'll get to see the age-old energy constantly bubbling up from below the Earth's surface, and get to see the supervolcano. So this has one of the world's largest concentration of geysers here, and this is one of the most. The Old Faithful geyser is a fountain of steam that rises more than 130 feet in the air, and of course is also one of the most predictable geographical features on Earth, erupting every 63 minutes. So we're gonna make sure we time that just right so you'll get to see it in action, um, and get to see all of the beauty that it provides. And then before we turn in for the night in Sheridan, we are going to drive through the incredible Bighorn Mountains and journey through the territory of the Great Sioux Nation. And then you are going to start your next day being amazed by the Crazy Horse Memorial, known as the world's largest sculpture. Um, the creation began back in 1948 and is actually still in progress today. Um, it was a dedication to the Sioux Indian chief who fought against the removal to an Indian reservation. So it's really unique to see that it actually is still being completed today, being started over 70 years ago, and as not actually projected to be finished until 2030. Standing up close, it's really unique to see just how giant it is, especially compared to where you're going to get to see next, one of the country's most famous landmarks, Mount Rushmore, where you're going to get to see the famous four figures carved in stone, representing the first 150 years of American history. George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Roosevelt, and Abraham Lincoln. It actually took them about 14 years and 400 men to carve this mountain. So lots of work went into making this. So really unique sight to see. And then we are going to get to know a little bit more about the Lakota culture, where we will have a cultural performance. Where you'll get to engage with the locals and learn about the heritage and the Indigenous American culture, learning about their fascinating ways of life, both past and present at your farewell dinner, where you'll get to meet a local Lakota Native American. So this tour explores some of America's most beautiful national parks and is offered at a wonderful time, September 26th through October 7th of 2026, 12 days, and looking at a price of $54.99 at the double occupancy to see some of America's beauty uncovered. So those are the destinations we have, and I'd like to pass it over to John, answer any questions we may have.
Sure. Thank you, Gina. Fantastic. If you have a question, if you put your cursor, your mouse, or your finger, if you're on a phone or an iPad, there's a little menu at the bottom. There should be a little conversation box that says Q&A with a question mark in it. If you don't see that, there is a little round button with three dots in it that says More. If you click on that, you will find that little Q&A bubble. So please go ahead and ask questions if you have any. As a reminder, if you came in late, we are going to take this video and upload it to YouTube, and tomorrow you will get an email which will include a link to this webinar. That email will also have a link to the web pages. We have a web page for all of the groups we talked about today. So there's more information there as well. So tomorrow you will have that email, which will have the web page links and the link to this webinar. As a reminder, you can bring friends and family along on any of these groups or any Collette tour, and they will receive the discounted pricing and the ability to go with the groups on anything. We have a couple of questions to address. I know we're at 3, so we're going to try to get through this relatively quickly so we don't run too long. Gina, somebody asked about the cherry blossoms on the Japan tour. Will because of the timing, they should see them. Can you talk about that?
Yes. They typically are in late April, so should be able to see them during that time.
Yep, perfect. Yeah, you can never trust Mother Nature, but there you go.
Exactly.
And then we had a question are any of the tours handicap accessible? I know one of the things we always talk about with Europe is, it's not as accessible as America. So a lot of times, cobbled streets and stairs, without ramps and stuff like that. But what about like the national parks? Can someone in a wheelchair join that tour, or is that not an option on any of these tours?
I would say probably no. Wheelchair is going to be, you're not going to be able to get the full experience of everything that's offered. So I would say a wheelchair is not going to be the best fit. However, it is a level 1. So if you're able to use a cane, anything like that, that would probably be okay, but I would say no on wheelchair.
And then one final question, airfare included. I can speak to that. Airfare is not included because we have MOAA members on both coasts, and obviously, depending on where you're flying from, that can vary. But we can absolutely get you an airfare quote if you'd like airfare through Collette. One of the great things about if you do airfare through Collette is they do have door-to-door service. So if you book a tour, I'll just say national parks, since that's the last one we kind of spoke about. If you book the national parks tour and you use Collette airfare, they'll actually pick you up at your home, take you to the airport, and then at the end of your tour, they'll pick you up at the airport and take you back to the home. There are some limits on that. It is complimentary within 50 miles of a major airport. I think it's available within 75 miles for an added fee, but it's a great benefit to have. And then how many dinners are included in national parks? I do know that if you click on any of the tours that we talked about today, it will actually break it down and say breakfast, lunches, and dinner, total meals included. So that
There's
will be available
16
when you
meals on this
pardon
one.
me?
16 meals included
16 meals on national parks. But if you want to break down between breakfast, lunch, and dinner, tomorrow when you get the email, just click on national parks. As I said, it's a web page that goes through everything, and it will actually break it down. In fact, there is a day-to-day, there's like a summary which will say how many breakfast, lunches, and dinners, and then you can literally go through day-to-day itinerary, and every day it will tell you what meals are included on that day. So obviously we went through a lot in 50 minutes. So there's always more information, which is of course why we have those web pages that Collette put together for us, which has all the information that you could ask for. So thank you everybody for coming. Once again, you'll get an email tomorrow. Hopefully you can join us on one of these groups. But keep in mind, if you like one of the departures, let's say you like the Japan tour, but that date doesn't work for you, that tour is available on other dates. If 2026 doesn't work for you, you can look at 2027, or if a different month works for you. And of course, Collette has, how many different tours do you guys have, Gina? I mean, I know it's
170 plus
I,
all
I was
seven
going to say
continents.
100. So yeah. So if you look at the national parks and you go, or Japan, they have other Japan tours that if this one's close, there may be one that's better. So you have the 800 number, you have the email address. Reach out to us. Speak to one. If you don't already have a travel consultant with MOAA Vacations, we'll get one assigned to you, and they will work with you to find the best Collette tour for you that meets all of your kind of needs. So, Gina, thank you very much. Took a lot of time out of your day, not only doing the presentation, but putting everything together. Love working with you. Colette's such a great partner. I'm going to turn it over to you for the final word.
Yes, just wanted to say thank you. We appreciate your partnership, John, and happy to help in any way I can. And hopefully, we see some people get booked on these wonderful tours. So, thank you again.
Thanks, everyone. If we hope to see you at the next one, and have a great weekend. Bye.
Bye.